Hello and welcome to the virtual Mini Thinkers program at the Davis County Public Library. My name is Miss Taryn and I am here today to show you how to do a Shopkins surprise egg experiment. Alright, so if you're watching this and you haven't picked up your kit yet, I can tell you that kits are available starting today while supplies last. You'll just go to the second floor information desk in the children's area and ask for the Mini Thinkers kits, okay? And also you can pick these up through curbside if you don't want to come in. You can call our number and then tell us how many kits you need for your kiddos and we'll bring it out to you. All right, so this video is meant to explain to you how to do this fun Easter themed kit. All right, so first of all, let me explain what's in the bag and what else you'll need to be gathering to get this experiment started. All right, so first of all, when you grab your kit, you will receive an instruction sheet on the outside of it, stapled to it nicely. It has a picture of the activity that we're doing and then a list of ingredients and then instructions on the back. So it also connects you with a QR code on the very front, and if you scan the QR code with your phone, you can be directed to this video. So if for some reason you end up with the kit and not this video, it will help connect you to the video. All right, so beneath that, it shows what is included in our bag. All right, so you should have 1/4 cup of baking soda. So it'll be in a little container like this. You should have a Shopkin. So one of these little guys, little tiny, cute baby food toys, basically. You got that. And then you should also have a plastic egg for Easter, okay? And then you'll have one type of food coloring. So I have lavender today. Yours will be in a small little plastic container like this one. Okay, we'll see what else we got in there. Okay, you also will have a pipette, so this little squeezy thing that you'll use at the very end of the experiment. So we have two parts. What I'm going to show you today, I'll show you both what you can do right now and then what you'll need to do tomorrow for the experiment. All right, so first of all, we're going to flip this over and we'll look at additional materials needed. So some other things that we'll need are a stirring spoon, a tablespoon of water, white vinegar, and a mixing bowl. All right, so I'm just gonna go ahead and grab those materials real fast. I have a tablespoon right here. I need a stirring spoon and a mixing bowl. I have a container of white vinegar right here. So kids, if you're watching this, ask your parents about white vinegar. Should be somewhere in your kitchen, probably. And I'll grab a mixing bowl real fast. So this is something that you're gonna do in two parts. So you're going to make the surprise egg first, and then after you've made the egg, then you will get to experiment with it. All right, let me grab a stirring spoon from over here, or anything that you can stir with. Got this little spatula thing here, and should be good to go. All right, so with our instructions, we can put the baking soda into the mixing bowl. All right, I'm gonna use this mixing bowl. It doesn't have to be a large one. This one's kind of like a medium to small sized one, because we have a small amount of materials that we're working with. So I'm gonna take out my baking soda and just dump it in there. Okay, and now I want to add 1 tablespoon of water to your baking soda until the mixture can be molded with your hands. Okay, so that's what has happened for me the last time that I did this experiment. It worked really well. Sometimes, depending on the humidity, the environment, if you put too much in or too little, you may have to play around with the amount. So it's better to start off with too little an amount of baking soda, because then we can just add more water. But if it gets too runny and it's too watery, then you'll need to add baking soda. So hopefully you have that in your cabinet at home. So let me get some water here. All right, got a tablespoon here of water. Okay. So you do have to mix it pretty good. A spoon, a spatula, whatever you want to use, just to kind of get that moisture throughout the baking soda. You want all parts of it to kind of absorb. So I also want to see if it can be molded with my hands. So if it'll mold together and stick. So basically it will. It's kind of crumbly, so I could maybe add like a drop or two of water, but I don't want to add too much more or then it will be way too runny. Okay, so I'm just gonna put it under the sink here. All right, I just barely turned it on for half a second because I don't want to risk it getting too runny. Okay, sounds like I got some baking soda underneath my bowl. All right, so this is coming together nicely. All right, so when I take it in my hands, I can mold it. It doesn't come off much, maybe like little pieces of it, but I can hold it. It holds its shape pretty well. It's not coming apart. So maybe a tablespoon and like 1/4 of a teaspoon added to it. Just kind of depends. All right, so the next thing you want to do is add a few drops of food coloring. Now, that's where you can use this. So your food coloring will be in a small plastic container like this. So you can either take the container and dump it in here using all of your food coloring if you want, or you can use your pipette, squeeze it in there, and then let it go into the bowl. That will also be a way to use it. I have just a regular container of food coloring. If you have some at home, feel free to use it. So I'm just gonna drop in a few drops. Now, it doesn't really matter how many drops. There's not a right or wrong way to do it, just however many you like. So the more drops you put in, the darker the color it'll be. So this is lavender, which is kind of a light purple, and that's kind of a nice spring color. And I don't want it to be like a deep dark purple, so I'm only gonna put in, I'll put in 5 drops just now. Okay, and hopefully you can kind of see that, what I've got right here. Okay, so now I'm going to mix it up. This part takes a little bit of working, so you want to mix it pretty good. It goes faster if you do it with your hands, so I may do that here in a second. But you want to make sure that that food coloring goes and covers the whole mixture of baking soda and water that you have. Okay, so right now it kind of looks like it's getting there. Kind of looks like spotted or maybe marbled. It's a little different, but if you keep mixing it, it's gonna change colors completely. There still might be a few spots on there. So, all right, so this is pretty good. I'm gonna take the last bit of it and mold it with my hands. So your hands might get messy. If you put a lot of food coloring in it, it'll probably come off on your hands. This one, I didn't put a whole lot of food coloring, so it's not, there's a little tiny bit on my hands, but not a whole lot. All right, so here you go. Got a nice light purple lavender little mixture right here. Okay, so I'm gonna put everything all together, all parts of the baking soda. So this is where your Shopkin comes in handy. So you have your little bitty Shopkin, and each one is different. So mine is a cupcake with a cherry on top. So you might have a Rice Krispie cereal or an ice cream sundae or something like that. Each one's different. So I'm gonna take my Shopkin and press it down into the baking soda mix. And then I want to mold the shape of an egg around it. Okay, so that's what I'm doing here. So I want to get it in the center so it's hidden, so you can't see it at all. All right, so here's what I've got. Looks like an egg, doesn't it? And I have a few tiny pieces left over. This is about, you don't want much more than this or it won't fit into the egg. All right, so now you're going to fit it into your Easter egg right here. Okay, so I'm gonna take it, put it in the bottom part, and then the Easter egg will close over it nicely like this. Of course, it's a little bit messy, but it's just baking soda and water and a little food coloring. It's not gonna be too bad. All right, so now our Shopkin egg mixture is inside the Easter egg. What you'll wanna do is set it aside to dry for about 24 hours. So it's 2 in the afternoon right now when I'm making this video. Probably tomorrow afternoon would be when this dries. So you can either you can dry it in the egg, or if you want, you can leave it out to dry in the air, and that goes faster if it air dries. So it could be ready this evening in that case. So I'm gonna set this one aside. This is the one that we made today, but I pre-made one so that I could show you the next step. And I've got a little tiny container here. You can just use a bowl. You can reuse your mixing bowl for this next part. So we're on number 5, so the last part of the instructions. So inside this egg, I have my egg mixture that has dried. Okay, so I've had that one, it's been in here for about a week. So it's got a good shape, it's not crumbling. When I touch it, it's firm. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is take my pipette and get some white vinegar. So if you're following along at home, this part you'll need to do the next day after you make your surprise egg. So moms and dads, if you want to surprise your little one, you can make it the day before and then have them do the surprise egg part the day after that. So whatever you want to do, or you can do both parts together, whichever. So I have my pipette, I have my vinegar here in this little jar. Next, I'm going to squeeze the pipette into the vinegar and release it on the open Shopkins egg. So I'm going to go ahead and read this instruction because it could be a mess. If you don't see it, read it first. So it's a good idea to go ahead and have the egg inside a cookie sheet, or like I have this little foil pan, a mixing bowl, a plate, even anything. Because it's going to have a reaction. So you just probably don't want it open on your kitchen counter. That's all. All right, so let's do it. So I squeeze it. So you can probably hear it and see that it is reacting. It's bubbling over. So you're getting lots of fun little bubbles. Okay, I'm gonna do it again. All right, so that bubble, that vinegar is dissolving with the baking soda. So each time I do that, a little bit more of my egg wears away. So I've got chunks of it coming off right here. It's gonna keep doing it. So you can use however much vinegar you want. Oh, I just got a big chunk there. So it only took me, what, 2 or 3 little squeezes, and then you can see it. I've got my little bitty Shopkin. He's already gotten out. So then you can kind of break it away, and you have your little Shopkin. So he's free, he's in a surprise egg. Of course, you can keep using the vinegar and the baking soda for the fun bubbling reaction. But you know, if you get the Shopkin out and you're finished, that's good too. So you can rinse the Shopkin off. It's yours to keep. It's kind of your little prize, and that's the experiment. So yeah, so the baking soda and the vinegar react and cause the bubbles escape. And that's what happens with this little tiny science experiment. So there are 2 different types of scientific compounds, and so that's why when you mix them together, there's the bubbles that are coming out as the experiment part. All right, so this was our Shopkins surprise egg video. It's a little bit messy. Most of our experiments are a little messy, but it's not too bad. I don't have food coloring all over my hands this time, so that's always a win. But I want to go ahead and encourage you to grab one of these kits. If you're just watching the video and haven't picked up your kit yet, come by the library. We have a limited amount of supplies available for them, but the sooner you go in, the better chance you'll have of getting your kit to make your own at home. Or take this video, use this for a similar experiment that you might do with your family. So this experiment hopefully will get you and your preschooler talking about science and about, mixing things together and what happens when you mix stuff together. So hopefully it opens up a good door of conversation with you all. All of the parts can be done with your preschooler if you want, mom, dad, grandparent, caregiver, whoever. If you want to let your preschooler do all the steps, that's perfectly fine. But if you're thinking, maybe they're not big enough to do this yet, feel free to just have them help with the pipette and the vinegar part, because that's definitely one that is easy for them to do, and it's so much fun. When we do this in person, all the kids love seeing the little bubbles and the science experiments from this activity. All right, I think that's everything for today. If you guys have any questions, come by the library or drop a comment on this video, and I'll see you next time.